Now, the next use case is about reinforcing biases and the problem with that. And if any one of you have tried to type in to prompt a Midjourney or another generative AI picture maker and trying to prompt it with, please give me a picture of a CEO or a politician or a boss or a researcher or a teacher, you know what I am talking about. I see somebody nodding here. Thank you so much. Now, this is something that they have tried to take the challenge up at Yle, the Finnish national broadcaster. So let's hear from Tove, Mylläri, and Samuli, Sillanpää.
Hello, everybody. It's very great to be here. My name is Samuli Sillanpää. Tove and we come from the Finnish broadcasting company Yle News Lab, which is an R&D unit for news and current affairs. I'm the team lead for our journalism and AI team.
Hello, everybody. My name is Tove Mylläri, and I am the team lead for experiments and collaborations at Yle News Lab. And today, we're going to give you a small talk about how to increase the diversity of news content with the help of AI. As we all know, diversity as a term can be seen in many ways, and it can be determined in equally as many. You might all have your own idea of what diversity looks like. Some companies have determined how it looks. We have determined it that for us at Yle, it means people with different traits, characteristics. The most common is, for example, age, your gender, your ethnic background, sexual orientation, language, disability, socioeconomic status, which is very important, health, that's one, family background, where you come from, are your parents educated, so forth, religion, or the values that you hold and live your everyday life. And on top of these very large amount of attributes that I just said, it can be seen in different levels. For example, on the societal level, looking at the whole society, it can be seen your individual level, that means your place in the diversity spectrum, and organizational level, if we think about the companies that we work for. But I just said a bunch of attributes, and you might all have all sorts of feelings about this, but let's pause here for a minute. For this next small exercise, you can close your eyes if you want to. I see my Finnish colleagues over there like, I'm not closing my eyes. En sulje silmieni. And that's fine. You can do this eyes open, of course, too. They're from Yle Svenska, it's fine. If you think about eyes open or closed, if you think about the media landscape today, the content that media produces, take a look around it. Look at the content, the images that it shows. Do you think that what you see, is it diverse? Does it present the whole society? Can you see variety in there? Or is it not diverse enough? If you close your eyes, thank you for those who did. Thank you for participating. You can open your eyes now. If you are really true to yourself, what do you think? What you saw, is it diverse enough to present everybody in society? I see some Nordic head shaking, and yeah, that's fine. Yeah. So, yeah. Diversity in media matters because we give a platform and a voice to underrepresented communities that would otherwise not be able to be seen or heard. And if we, as media companies, individual journalists, whatever you present, want to become more diverse in media, and other industries, we have to question the current state of giving visibility and power in society. That's what we have to do. It's uncomfortable, but that's what we have to do. And we as a media act as a sort of magnifying glass. You know how a magnifying glass works. You've all played it as a child, most of you, I'm sure. We can magnify messages and images that can shift power relations, or we can just ignore and not magnify, and then we don't see stuff. And we can either reinforce or expose those who have political and social power, or not. Just let it be, no change. But if we fail to reflect the diversified structures of our society and only present the privileged groups we feed the social distance between groups. It creates those who are seen, we privileged people, and the others. And does anyone know what that means? There's a term for it. I'm certain you have heard about it. It's called polarization. If we want to feed it, we can just ignore it. And that is why diversity in media matters. And at Yle, we have, as diversity is such a large topic, we have determined 3 levels of diversity that we sort of inspect at Yle. The first level is the service level. This can be a service that we developed and we provide for our customers. How accessible is it? Does it support equality? And of course, the AI that is topic today, AI can also be built with diversity in mind. The second one is content, the diversity of society, detecting biases, the everyday lives of people and communities who live and think differently than we do is seen and heard in their own voice, not the stories told by others. And the personal, in terms of whether people's skills or other backgrounds and those attributes are used to make the most of the diversity of people in every level of the organization. But in this session, we are focusing on the content level. And I see some people are like, when is the tech stuff coming up? I feel uncomfortable. Don't worry, it's coming up. And by the way, I just have to say that have you noticed that Samuli and I and the others are speaking today in the contemporary uses case line? And that basically means that nowadays we have this thing called contemporary AI. Then we have the generative AI, which is more tomorrow. Yeah. And that seems to be on everybody's lips. But today, me and Samuli, we have picked from the contemporary AI use cases for this contemporary use case lane, and Samuli will take it from here.
Thank you, Tove. Our first case example is Yle Noviny, our Ukrainian news service, which we launched in last May. We wanted to support Ukrainian refugees arriving in Finland by providing them reliable information in their own native language. As we all know, the situation in Ukraine escalated quickly, and we wanted to move fast. Therefore, the traditional way of setting up a new news service was out of the question. We designed and built an AI-assisted workflow that uses articles from our Finnish and Russian news services. The translation process is handled by our in-house built tool. The tool uses several machine translation providers and is integrated with our other editorial tools. The AI translation is always checked by a Ukrainian-speaking journalist before it's published on Noviny's website and social media platforms. Noviny has demonstrated to us that machine translations enable us to quickly support new language groups when needed. In this case, it took us only a couple of weeks to get the service up and running. And now that we have done the groundwork, using this kind of workflow with new languages should be even faster. For now, Novini is publishing text articles. However, we are currently working on extending Novini's workflow to subtitling videos. Our second case example is related to the diversity of our news coverage. Like Tove told, this is an important topic for us. To be able to set targets that guide our everyday editorial decisions, we need to have a better understanding of the diversity of our news content, especially who we give voice to. This is quite a difficult problem to convert to an automated solution. The approach we are currently exploring is to use NLP techniques to analyze all content that we produce and recognize all named entities mentioned. In this case, we're interested in person names and organizations. We continue by enriching person names with attributes such as gender, title, occupation, or political affiliation. We also extract quotes from the news articles. And combining all this information with content metadata, for example, topics and keywords, tells us who we give voice to when we talk about some specific theme. For example, we could measure the ratio of men and women that we have represented when we talk about, say, education. This helps us to detect possible biases in our stories. We acknowledge that increasing the diversity of our content does not happen only by using text solutions or by being reactive. However, technology can help us to surface potential diversity issues during the content production process. Our big dream is to provide our journalists the possibility to create diverse content with the help of an AI that guides them according to our shared company-wide values. To reach this goal, we are planning to explore how to use large language models to create more sophisticated analysis and writing aid. For example, for adjusting the tone of voice or language level to be suitable for the target audience. And talking about the future, we decided to end this presentation by sharing our take on how newsrooms can make friends with AI while we are evolving from contemporary AI to generative AI and beyond.
We have realized that there are 3 E's that work for us when it comes to befriending AI. And we wanted to share those E's with you. The first E is to explore. We encourage to be curious and brave and take a good look around you. Explore what kind of services there already are available, and do you think that there is something that might suit your needs, or do you want to develop your own technological solution? The second E is to educate. Of course, educate yourselves, but not only that. When you get to know the services, that method that gets you excited, that you see that might fit your company, share your findings with others around you. Don't keep the information to yourself. And to experiment. Test your selected services and methods in action, what we did with Novini there, and evaluate what works for you. Iterate and learn. That sounds easy, but of course that's not easy. But hopefully you saw something today that might nudge you towards becoming friends with AI.
We were just talking about that you should start exploring and educating, and we decided to share our educational material in the form of an FAQ about ChatGPT that's originally made for our journalists, but it's now available for everyone to use. So feel free to check it out, share it, and maybe even be inspired by it. Thank you.
Thank you.